the results begin to skyrocket again because people feel that trust and that opportunity to take action on the things that for a number of years or for a number of quarters or for whatever that length of time has been.
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and the wisdom of how they sold their first million.
So, companies have an on tap sometimes a small increase in productivity make a massive difference, and it depends on the performance of the people, on the performance of the culture. So who do you think that is responsible in order to increase productivities in the organization? Is the CEO, is the management team, is the employee, is you as a trainer that change the dynamic of the situation? Who is actually responsible for underperforming teams?
Who is responsible? That is such a powerful and I think important question. And a lot of the stuff that I do in training is based upon inspiring personal accountability. Because the issue with whining teammates, the people that point blame and want to say it's so-and-so's fault or it's such and such's fault, or here's the excuse, is they'll point at anything other than themselves. And I think that leaders, regardless of position, again, position doesn't grant you leadership. Leadership is influence because of the behaviors that other people have when you interact with them. And you can choose to be a leader regardless of your role. Now, it's easier to lead when you have the authority of a position or a title. And so you want that manager or that vice president or that owner to lead because they're taking accountability and they're pointing at themselves as being responsible. But the best teammates in your organizations are the ones that are doing exactly that. They're the ones pointing at themselves. What does the team need? What can I take initiative on so that I'm solving problems instead of just pointing at them and blaming somebody else? And so I think that ultimately the purpose of any training, the purpose of any leadership development is to improve awareness of our tendencies and our personality and how we interact with others, to make sure that we're more aware of and appreciative of the skills and personalities and challenges of the people that depend on us, and absolutely to inspire personal accountability, which is almost always the result. I think that all accountability is really a symptom of empathy. And if we can build into people a desire to accomplish a compelling common goal, and if we can build into a team an appreciation for and a care for the people that they actually are working with, if you care about a goal and you care about the people that you're achieving that goal with, that's going to drive the accountability that makes you that much more engaged.
Leadership is a skill. The more you practice, the better you become. And very often in the organization, we have a team member that is achieving a great results, is doing amazing, and is the best performing. And then somebody had the great idea, you know what, let's make it manager. And now we have a person in the position that, is a great employee and achieved the highest mark, but now is managing the team with zero leadership skills. On the other hand, you have another teams where you have 2-3 people that they're performing amazing. They are the top performers, and then we need a new manager, and they bring somebody external that nobody knows out of the blue. Yeah, and that person might not know this job, might not know the technicality, how to perform better. However, he has leadership skills and has management skills. So who do you choose, and how you navigate this, or how you mitigate this problem that also got a translation into culture? Because the fact that you are a great performer and your position at work, that doesn't mean that you have a leadership skills and you're going to be a good leader. And this is what you need in management position. This is what you need in board meeting. A very common challenge into organizations out there. And based on your basketball experience, can we do something about. Can we start to train these people in leadership and see if they have leadership skills before we bring them to management position, or we bring them to management position, we realize that they are not leaders, and now we need to start to work with these people. What we do with this problem?
Well, I love the analogy that I'll sometimes use with basketball. And you can certainly acknowledge that in basketball, great players don't always become great coaches, right? It's a very different set of skills. And I think it's the
100%.
same way in business and in sales organizations specifically, but in any organization where somebody is a high performer in their role. My job when I'm looking to develop others and I'm looking to identify who are going to be potential leaders in the future for my organization, those one-on-one conversations I'm having with them every week are unbelievably important because it helps me to know that individual and what is his or her desire moving forward. Because some people, to your point, they absolutely value the role they're in. They want to be a superstar in that role, and they don't want to climb the mountain to be anything different. But for those
Maybe
that
they don't
are
have
high
even the
perform-
skills yet.
but for those that want to leave that position and continue to acquire new skills and go on to new challenges, absolutely, you want to give them those opportunities to become managers and leaders, but that's with the understanding on their part and on your part that you're going to need to equip them, because leadership is a very different set of skills than sales or any other role. If I'm going into a leadership role as an engineer, leading people is a very different set of skills than what I actually had when I was doing a great job as an engineer and just an individual contributor. And so I think that the reason that nearly 2/3 of leaders or managers fail in their role isn't because they're not smart and capable and good. It's because they don't have a coach or a mentor or somebody putting them through the training that gives them the insights and the tactics to be better in a different role.
To make the question easy for everybody to understand, do you put in your basketball team your high performer?
I love that question as it applies to business, because the listeners to this show have people that are very talented that they would love to be leaders. And the reality is, in basketball and business, your best talent isn't always going to be your best leader. Leadership is a different set of skills. And I for that reason, as a basketball coach, and I was contrary in a number of the things that I did. We never, as a coaching staff, identified captains. I wanted my captains to self-select.
Wow,
and you're going to see the
that's
same
more
thing as a leader.
powerful, very powerful, eh?
People will identify themselves as a leader in an organization.
And the team
They're
also
the
will
ones-
identify them, right?
They're the ones who are not just willing to step up, go in, to meet with the referees at the beginning of a game to do, but the leaders that identify themselves, they're the ones in your offices and in your meetings who are already self-selecting because they're doing their job well and they're looking for ways to contribute, and they're not just pointing at others, they're pointing at themselves, and they take the initiative and they take the ownership and they're asking to do more already. And those are the people that you're looking to delegate to so you can help to develop them into those roles that they already have shown a proficiency for.
Can we apply this in corporate? I think it's going to be very powerful if actually the leaders can be sex-led, meaning that because somebody has to be comfortable in the leadership position. Not everyone can be a good leader, and not everyone be comfortable in this position. But also, even if you want to be a leader, even if you want to be a boss, even if you want to be, you need the skills. Let me empower them. Let me release some control, something that at the beginning you want to hang into the business. You don't want to release control, but if you surrender to that ego and you have a transformation and you start to practice to be a leader, the payoff, I've done it, I live it myself, is amazing, because the first day that you are alone in your house, you're a little bit confused. But the second day that you're there and all this money is coming and you're not doing anything, and you see everybody enroll with the company, I'm like, wow, this is unbelievable. I couldn't believe that I actually pulled this off. I was so happy with myself. I'm also happy with them. And they were also more happy. They were running the company without me, So
Well,
yeah.
I think that's such, and that you stumbled upon some of those answers is unbelievably beneficial for you and your team members. The issue is not every leader makes that realization or comes to those insights as quickly or as easily. And they do struggle and they do run people off and lose good people because they're commanding and controlling instead of staying curious and giving people a chance to actually grow and contribute what they can do without you. And I think that oftentimes leaders and entrepreneurs and startups, as busy as you are in the front end of building something, if you're going to scale and my job as a parent, my job as a coach, my job as a leader of a business is to make myself valued but unnecessary. It's nice to be wanted and for people to reach out and look for advice and appreciate, but if I'm unnecessary as a parent, it's because I taught my children to have the values and to make decisions that allow them to succeed. And it's the same way as a coach. It's the same way in business as a leader. If you can make yourself unnecessary because you've given people the opportunity to grow and to develop into roles that then allow that business to scale, you've done a fantastic job.
So if you go to a company with the main culture is command and control, and this is the culture of the company, how can you help these people?
Well, I think that something like that always becomes a waterfall situation. And if you have to start at the top of the waterfall.
But they will call you because they're underperforming. They have a command and control culture. They beat the company like this. They struggle. It was a lot of resistance. They're pushing, but somehow they manage. They are there, underperforming, a lot of friction always in the company and everything. A command and control culture. From the top to the bottom, everybody do what the boss said, no question asked and everything. And then they call it a Sean, we need to increase performance. How can you help us? What do you do with this type of company or that have this type of culture?
Yeah, I think that there's always evidence of issues. And if you go into an organization, you're going to see symptoms of problems that other people may be unaware of. And my job when I'm coaching a leader is to make sure that I help them move from unaware to symptom aware, to them understanding the problems you're seeing here, the issues that you're dealing with here are just symptoms of the real problem. And if we address that real problem, the solution is easy. And I think that climbing that kind of awareness ladder of going from unaware to symptom aware to problem aware to solution aware, that's part of my job as a coach, is to help them to begin to see and to be more aware of the things that maybe they weren't seeing as a leader. So when your results have begun to plateau, when you're really good people who you knew were going to be shooting stars and wanted to be better, when they start leaving your organization because they feel that there's a ceiling on their initiative, that becomes pretty problematic. And that's when people will sometimes reach out and say, hey, Sean, I need somebody to come in and consult or to coach with or to work with my team. And oftentimes that starts with the leader of the team being more aware of how command and control is limiting their team. And once I become a little bit more curious and a little bit more compassionate and a little bit more encouraging and trusting in terms of delegating things to the team members, the results begin to skyrocket again, because people feel that trust and that opportunity to take action on the things that for a number of years or for a number of quarters or for whatever that length of time has been, that they felt limited and they didn't take the initiative because they didn't want to have somebody tell them not to.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.